When having a conversation about Counter-Strike items and potential investments, the general recommendations are very simple. Cases are an amazing option as they are opened at an insane rate, and when they exit the active drop pool, prices really only go up from there. Major stickers are always an option as the capsules get removed an undetermined amount of time after the major ends. Once applied, a sticker cannot be removed without destroying it, so quantity decreases and prices rise. Unless it's a modern bordered sticker, then we have a different conversation. And on the skin side of things, there's operation skins with a limited runtime and some very desirable high tier items. Buy the high tier item and flex while making some money, or buy up a bunch of low tier items and aim for higher returns as the low tier items get burned in trade ups. And then there's all of the other items that exist in Counter-Strike that also have opportunities. The items from specific collections that have the ability to be a great investment, and all of the other niche corners of the market. But one thing that has remained true is that map collection items that drop through playing the game will always remain a fairly stable price, and putting money into these items is one of the stupidest things you can do. Out of everything that Counter-Strike offers, it's genuinely one of the worst decisions that you can make. Well, until it wasn't. An old-time meme back in the day was the P250 Sand Dune. Somehow, this P250 took the title as the worst skin in Counter-Strike, which I think is a little bit unfair. It's fairly clean if we're being honest. People would buy up thousands as a joke. Back in the MLG era of gaming, it would receive all of the appropriate stickers creating the meme Dune, and all of the other memes that were created with this skin. Now the P250 took the crown as the biggest meme skin, but it wasn't alone, like the Jesus pattern dualies, or the hamster pattern P2K granite marbleized. Whenever one of these patterns is discovered, it's always memed that it's worth more than a dragon lore. Everyone knows that these actively dropped skins are essentially worth nothing due to their near infinite supply. Even the granite marbleized, which is an industrial grade skin, has 3,400 registered hamster patterns. And with each passing day, the quantity would only get higher and higher. So people memed on these skins, but following this new update from Valve and waiting a couple days to see how people would react, maybe it actually won't end up being a stupid idea. If you haven't seen the news about the new contents update that Valve added, I have a video covering it in a very broad sense. One of the biggest changes is that we have new weekly drop collections. They look amazing, and overall, I'd say the community reaction has been positive towards these changes. What confused most of us though is the removal of Bank, Italy, Lake, and the Old Train collection. Outside of the Bank collection, the rest of these were released November 27, 2013 as souvenir drops were introduced for the DreamHack 2013 Major. You know, those weird souvenirs without teams and some strange quirks to the way that stickers worked. And for the Bank collection, that was released July 2014, which is only half a year after. Altogether, each collection has been dropping at the end of games for over a decade. And as a surprise to no one, the consumer-grade skins from these collections have sat at the Steam market price floor for years. As you would expect, millions of these items exist. Like millions of each item, not even as a whole. Some of these items are even close to touching 10 million registered. Despite this, there are some notable skins from these collections that actually carry somewhat of a price tag because people do use them. The P250 Franklin, AK-47 Emerald Pinstripe, Deagle Meteorite, Galil Tuxedo, Op Pit Viper, Glock Candy Apple, Op Safari Mesh, Sawed-Off Amber Fade, Mac-10 Candy Apple. If you have put some hours into CS, you have likely seen many, if not all of these skins in your games. They are cheap and honestly look pretty good. And even after millions of these items have been dropped, their prices still exist above the price floor. For items that seem to exist in the back of our minds as we all crowd around new cases or new collections, the amount of these that get traded and sold daily is actually pretty monstrous. So to remove any ability to receive one of these drops again is going to cause a reaction. But what kind of reaction did we get? Now that we are a few days removed from this update, we can see what the response was. Honestly, it was a stronger response than I expected. When this update dropped, the first thing that popped in my mind was the Safari Mesh. Another infamous meme skin, but this one actually gets used by players. Following the update, Steam market quantity got down to 60 listings and the price doubled. Is this limited to the Steam Market FOMO? Actually, not at all. Even looking at CS Float, there's no listings anywhere near the price they were before. CS Float listings are actually higher than the Steam Market right now due to the limited quantity getting bought up without being replenished. Meanwhile, the Steam Market has actually started the downwards trend following the insane spike. Now I just want to reiterate that this item was dropped for over a decade. Even though the Safari Mesh is float capped at 0.06, there's a registered supply of nearly 30,000. Now that is crazy FOMO into an item that was considered garbage a week ago. But alright, let's cut out the float capped items. To talk about the insane supply of these items, then take an item with unusually low supply to make a point about price movement is disingenuous. How about the Mac 10 candy apple? Really clean looking Mac 10, and most important, no float cap for factory new, resulting in a registered supply of 1.5 million. Surely it can't be profitable, right? Now to be honest, not every skin is doing so hot. The Galil Tuxedo is honestly a skin I expected to pump too, but the price has remained fairly stable. Maybe because it was already overvalued due to the mass purchasing when CS2 dropped and prices have slowly been falling since then. But what got me off of the fence and motivated to make this video is the buy order that I have on the Steam Market. The Dual Beretta's Colony should be a worthless skin in theory. List it for 3 cents on the Steam Market and get it out of your inventory type of item. Well, a few hours after the update dropped, I decided to throw in a buy order of 300 of these at 4 cents. Worst case scenario, I lose 10 bucks and have a bunch of trash skins in my inventory. Well, after 3 days, I still have a buy order for 200 of these. A trash item that people throw away, and I can't even fill my buy order of 4 cents. Just a few days ago, there would have been 500 to 1,000 of these at 4 cents. I wouldn't even have to wait for the buy order. And sure, all of the items that were FOMO purchased the day of the update haven't re-entered the market yet due to the market hold. But 5.5 million field tested colonies exist, and I can't fill my buy order. That is insane to think about. And the more I do think about it, the more I think there might be something here. I just mentioned that 5.5 million of those field tested dualies exist, just shy of 10 million overall. Well, that isn't entirely true. Because trade-ups in Counter-Strike can be skewed on the amount of possible outcomes, these collections were the optimal choice for getting a desired outcome. The very low prices were also crucial for the profit margins on trade-ups. Just shy of 10 million dualies, but those are supply numbers for all dualies that have ever existed. Many of them have gone into the trade-up void. And maybe I'm alone, maybe I'm not, but I could never be bothered to sell all of my drops. I would just wait until I had 10 trash skins and trade them up just to clear my inventory. It's nearly impossible to decipher these supply numbers, as plenty of these skins just don't exist anymore due to years and years of trade-ups. Further proof of this can be found on the active listings on markets. For each collection outside of Bank where there's no reason to use an emerald pinstripe in a trade-up, the highest tier of item, the rarest item, always has the highest amount of listings. Now, why would the rarest item be the most common? Well, that's because there's a lot of failed trade-ups. Many of these 10,000 Cobalt Quartz dualies are the result of a trade-up that did not go as planned. It's the same reason that these skins are always worth less than the skins below it that can still be used for trade-ups. That was their entire purpose for a decade, but now they might have a new purpose. I would still expect these skins to be used in trade-ups, as these insane price spikes likely won't be sustainable, but time will run out. Eventually supply will hit a critical point, where natural demand from the average user, combined with the dwindling supply, will force prices to rise, and their time as trade-up fuel will come to an end. And for some of the unique items, like a candy apple or a pinstripe, these might actually become profitable play skins. Now, before you close this video and start buying up thousands of these skins, let's make this clear. Many of these items will never be used as play skins. Sure, the numbers are not correct, but saying millions of these low tier items still exist is 100% correct. Even though these prices have held out better than I thought, in no way do I consider them sustainable short term. The real test is when the items purchased right after the update dropped are sold on the markets again. That is when we can truly determine how much faith people have in these old collections. But I was not expecting such a strong wave of mass purchasing to hit these collections the first few days, and considering the absolute bottom dollar that all these items still sit at, there might be something here,